Hey everyone, this is Taylor from Peak Endurance. I'm going to talk to you all today about how to get back into running as soon as possible when you're postpartum. So I work with a lot of women who are runners and they run throughout their pregnancy, and then postpartum they're always wanting to know, okay, what can I do to get back into running as fast as possible? And so how we kind of want to think about it is what muscles were affected during our pregnancy and birth, and what muscles do we really need to work on to be a good healthy runner. And so I break it up for people into, we want to think about 4 different things, and then what exercises can we do to address those. So number 1, your abdominal wall. So throughout pregnancy, your abdominal wall gets really stretched out, and we know that after pregnancy and postpartum that those muscles just aren't as strong. And so we want to do something to address that strength. So for abs, we're normally starting, if you're really early postpartum, with just breath and engaging our abdominals that way. So we'll start laying on your back with your knees bent or on all fours, and we're just simply going to inhale and let those muscles relax. And then as we exhale, we're going to think about drawing our belly button in and starting to activate our trunk like that. Then we're gonna pick out something for our pelvic floor. So our pelvic floor gets a lot of load on it throughout pregnancy, and then after pregnancy, whether you had a vaginal birth or a cesarean, you are gonna have those muscles are gonna be stretched out. And so we wanna do something to address that. So with our pelvic floor, we'll often start with just isolating and doing laying on our back, or again, you could do it on all fours. We're gonna think about just contracting those muscles and holding them for 3 to 5 seconds and doing that 8 to 10 reps. Next thing that needs to be addressed is our hip. So our hip is important when we're running. It helps us create that single leg control when we're on one leg. And we know after pregnancy, especially our glute med is not as strong as it was before we were pregnant. And so we'll do something to start to address our hip. My favorite way to start is gonna be laying on your side, whether we're doing a side plank, a clamshell, or laying on your back and doing some variation of a bridge. And then the last thing we want to address for trying to get strong to go back to running is going to be our foot. So our feet undergo some changes throughout our pregnancy. And so postpartum, we want to work on developing that foot strength again. And so simply starting with a heel raise. If you're really early, we'll start a bilateral heel raise. So in standing, you can hold on to something for support, and then we're just going to go up and come down. So those are the 4 different areas that I think about when I'm working with someone who is really early postpartum and they want to get back to running. So this can kind of give you some framework and ideas of what are the things that you should start working on to help yourself have an easier return to running postpartum.